right, so today we're going to talk a little bit about leveling a clock, and hopefully that will put the clock in beat. So before we start, let me explain what our end goal is here. So I'm going to put this inside here because I want you to listen to this. You hear that? So a clock in beat means that it's an even spacing between the tick and the tock, right? So that's pretty even. So this is a German clock, just a German wall clock. Belongs to a customer. It has been set so that it is in beat. So I want to show you a little something about this case. What's kind of crazy about it is that depending on where you place the level on the case in here, it's not necessarily level at all, is it? So you kind of have to sit back and look and see, well, what does it look like hanging on the wall? If we move the case just a little bit, now you can hear right? You hear that? Now it's out of beat, right? It's sort of a tick-tock, and actually the clock has stopped because it's out of beat and it can't stay running that way. So I'm going to put this back in beat. Actually, if we look at this, there's a little bit, this is an old case, so we can see right here that it's but if we move it on the wall, now we can see, all right, so it's back in beat. We're going to close this up like this, and then we're going to back up just so we can say, oh, it looks pretty even on the wall, doesn't it? It doesn't look completely out of hand. So, all right, well, let's suppose that the case is not even on the wall, and we need to adjust the clock itself and put it into beat. So that's what we have here. We have got this Gustav Becker German movement, and it has been actually sitting and running on these brackets for quite a number of weeks, and been doing just great. But I want to explain, since we have so many different clocks in here, what we've done is we have connected a pickup up to this and connected it to this right here. And if we listen to it, we can tell that this is completely out of beat, right? So let's look at a couple of things here on this. First thing we're going to do is we're actually going to put a level on the movement here. That's pretty close. So what do we do? The movement's pretty much level here, but the clock's still out of beat. So this is what I wanted to show you today. What we're going to do is we are actually going to, let's see if I can get behind here and show. There we go. We are actually going to adjust this just a little bit and attempt to put the clock in beat, okay? Okay, so I'm going to use another German movement here to attempt to explain what I'm talking about. So basically, we have our pendulum back here, or a verge, actually. Okay, and so this is what's going to swing back and forth like this, right? And so this is connected to the escape wheel. All right, you can see the little crutch right there. All right, so here's the important thing to know here. This is actually friction fit to right here. Okay, so we can actually, let's get it back into focus here. So we can actually push this a little bit one direction or the other, and it will adjust where this sets right here. So that's a rudimentary way of explaining it, but what we're going to do is, with our clock back here that is out of beat, we are going to adjust this right here since it's friction fit, so it puts this clock in beat because it was not. All right, so let's do that now. We're going to turn this on so we can hear what we're doing. In fact, it's not running at all right now. So here's the important part of what we're going to do, okay? First off, we're going to take this pendulum all the way off. This just fits in its cradle right there, okay? We're going to come behind here then, and we're going to just, we can feel it go back and forth, but if we just, I'm going to push this a little bit to one side. See, now that's too far that way. So we actually need to come back this way. And you see how I've done that? How it still sounds uneven. So I'm going to push it a little more in that direction. Okay. Still sounds a little uneven. So now on this one, we actually have to pull this out just a little ways so it's not hitting in between these little guards right here. But what we do want eventually, I think it's going to have to come back this way a little. Okay, so that's a good start, right? You hear how that's even? So now what we're going to do is we'll come back under here. See if I can show you. What we're going to do is come back under here, and we're going to set this in here. Now let's see where we're at. So it's still a little off when we put the pendulum on. So I'm going to come back up here and look at that. That looks pretty even. So what we'll do is we'll adjust that crutch in the opposite direction. It seems like it wants to sort of lean towards this direction. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to do this with this on here just a little bit. And I'm going to pull this to this side just a little. Now it's a little too far that way. So it sometimes just takes a little bit. Yep. There we go. All right, you hear that now? So now we've got the clock that's in beat. We think it's pretty level. And so at this point, this clock is ready to go back to the customer because the customer is going to install that into their case. And we'll go from there. And I appreciate you watching.